Hey, welcome to my channel. My name is Ken and I'm on a journey to lose as much weight as I possibly can so I can become a fat guy no more. Well, this video is going to be completely different than any other video I've ever done. This one is a medical update for you. So if you watch my video on Tuesday, which I actually recorded this past Sunday, you'll remember that I had what at the time I thought was a spider bite here on my arm. Let me show you a picture here. This is what it looked like then. So I had first noticed that bite on Thursday last week, so a week ago today, actually. I didn't pay no attention to it. I get bit by stuff all the time. Mostly mosquitoes, of course, but I didn't really think anything of it. By Sunday, it started looking quite red, and so it kind of started drawing my attention, and that's why I showed it to you guys on that video update that you saw on Tuesday. By Monday afternoon, when my wife got home from work, I asked her to take a look at it because in addition to it being quite red, it was really starting to get puffy. I mean, it was like, you know, and it was very, I don't know, you touch it, it's like fluidy. I mean, really just, I don't really know how else to describe it other than that. It just didn't seem right to me. So when she looked at it, I think her exact words were, "Oh my God, you need to get in somebody immediately." And I'm like, really? Because it didn't hurt. It itched a little bit, but it didn't hurt. So I'm thinking, do I really need to go in? Needless to say, she talked me into going to getting it checked out. She took me to a local emergency walk-in clinic. So when I got there and got checked in, I got into the room, the nurse came in and she's asking me how I'm doing. And she's like, "So what are you here for?" And I kind of pointed at my arm. She's like, "Oh my God." And I said, "Yeah, that's kind of what my wife said actually." But then she asked me if I knew what the problem was, and I said, "No, that's exactly what I'm here for, to see if you guys can tell me that." And she'd come over, kind of poking on it. She's like, "Does that hurt?" I said, "No, not at all." And so she checked my vitals. My blood pressure was actually quite good, one weight over 73, maybe even a little bit on the low side for me, especially under that situation. And then she told me that the doctor would be in shortly. And when he came in, his eyes got about this big when he looked at it. He grabbed something that kind of looks like those things that they look in your ears with, but had a little different nose to it. And he comes over and he starts looking at the holes on there. And he's like, "Well, it wasn't from a bee sting and it wasn't from a spider bite." And he goes on to tell me that a spider bite would have had a darker area around each one of the holes. And so he knew it wasn't that. And he did a little more digging. And then he asked me a question that I thought was way out of left field, honestly. And that is, "Have you lost a lot of weight recently?" I kind of chuckled and I looked at him and I'm like, "Yep, you bet I have. I'm down, 239 pounds and counting still." So then he asked me how I did it. And he's like, "Did you have surgery?" And I said, "No, I used Mounjaro, Zepbound, Tirzepatide, doing that." And he's like, "Oh, yeah, okay. And how much did that cost you?" And I'm like, is cost really important at this point? But had the conversation. He was doing something on the computer, so I think he was just passing time at that point. That's all I'm thinking. And so he finally tells me I'm going to need a tetanus shot, which I did get in this arm, and it's still quite sore here a few days later. And he tells me what it is that it was a mosquito bite. And I'm thinking, Doc, I get bit by mosquitoes all the damn time. I have often referred to myself as a Vegas buffet for mosquitoes. They seemingly just absolutely love me and keep coming back for more. And he's like, "Yeah, but here's the difference in this. You, with all the weight that you've lost, your skin is very loose right there. You have a lot of tissue underneath there that's loose. And because of that, it has caused cellulitis." So the red that we saw, and if you saw the thumbnail, you saw it there. Let me show you again right here. All of that redness is cellulitis. Now, if you look closely at this picture, you can see the pen markings on there. He wrote those on there because he told me that if at any time the redness goes beyond those markings, I need to get to an emergency room immediately. He said it was a matter of life and death. I said, how could you die from something like this? And he told me that effectively what this is an infection that has spread in my arm, and that if it gets too bad, it can cause sepsis, and yes, you can die from that. Naturally, of course, my ears were like, bing, and I'm like, what in the holy world? Him and his nurse were both absolutely shocked that I wasn't in a lot of pain, because evidently cellulitis causes a lot of pain. but it didn't hurt. Like I told him, it was just itchy a little bit. I was kind of still just taken back, but you know, when he told me you can definitely die if it goes too bad, that got my attention. There was no doubt about it. So I started asking him, you know, tell me again about this whole rapid weight loss and how that caused this problem. And he said it absolutely exacerbated the issue because of how loose the skin is there. Now, if you look at my arm here, as you can see now, after taking some antibiotics and stuff, it's much better, right? I mean, I hope you could see that. We drew the lines a little bit darker with Sharpie so we could see it better, but look at the skin is still very, I mean, look at this, see? Yeah, yeah, it's very loose there. So here's where the bite took place, right there. And it spread this whole area here on my arm, as we saw. But he said because of that loose skin from losing weight so fast, it's what happened. He said that infection got in and it just spread. So then he told me, you need to make sure anytime you get bit that you're cleaning that area as quick as you can. Absolutely as fast as you possibly can. Get it cleaned so something like this doesn't happen again. But to be mindful that if it does, just get in somewhere, get an antibiotic, and you should be fine. I mean, seriously, as if I haven't been having enough issues lately. Now I have to worry about bug bites and cellulitis and maybe sepsis and having that all exacerbated. Exacerbate, by the way, that's a vocab word from back in my sophomore year in high school over 30 years ago. I still remember that. Shout out to Mr. Vernon. Hey, big guy, if you're watching this, I know you watch from time to time. If you're watching this one, I still remember learning that word in your class, and I'm using it to this day. How about that? But yeah, I mean, this is something that I wanted to, pass along about my experience and what happened to me, because several of you commented on the last video about how I need to get in and get it looked at, thinking it was a spider bite back then, especially, and come to find out it was a tiny little mosquito that got me. And that was just part of the problem. And the other part was, Ken, like he said, because of losing so much weight so fast, the loose skin there, the infection just was able to just easily spread. And that's exactly what it did. But again, getting a tetanus shot and then the antibiotics he gave me, he actually gave me something for the itch too, so it's much better. I still have a few days of the antibiotic I got to get through. But let me show you this picture here. You can see from last night compared to Monday, what a world of difference. Absolutely what a world of difference. So I'm excited about that. But then something else happened. Last night I got a text message from my wife, and she shared a local news article with me. And this kind of makes me wonder what in the holy world's going on. But as you can see right here, it talks about people swelling up from just simple mosquito bites. So it's not just me that's having this issue, but again, I think my issue is twofold. Whatever's up with those mosquito bites, but also then the loose skin from losing all the weight that then caused the cellulitis. But it's kind of weird to see that there's more than just me dealing with this. Let me actually show you a little clip of that video for a second here, just so you can see what I'm talking about.
An Oklahoma soccer team and their coach are perplexed. They say they've been bitten by mosquitoes. However, the symptoms extend beyond a normal bite.
News 4's Spencer Humphrey is here with what medical experts think may be happening. Spencer.
Yeah, guys, those bites left the team with some really swollen hands and intense pain, and doctors say it's certainly not normal. If evening after evening on grassy soccer fields has taught Lainey Singleton and the team she coaches one thing, it's that they know their bug bites.
I mean, we've all grown up in Oklahoma, all these girls and myself.
And they know whatever is biting them at Lightning Creek Park can't be your average mosquito.
We've never experienced bites like this.
Not when the bites leave them looking like this.
That was my hand about four days ago.
Their hands swollen for days. The pain more like what you'd expect from a bee sting.
It leaves a feeling of almost like a flu shot.
And it's not just her either.
I had some calls from parents, golf ball to baseball size swelling where the bite was located, and some girls experienced some headaches and stuff.
We showed her picture to Dr. Melinda Kale.
It doesn't look like your typical mosquito bite.
She, too, isn't quite sure what to make of it.
Usually people will get a little bit of swelling and maybe some redness, But if people are consistently having a big reaction to it, it makes me think that it's probably something else. Or maybe some different strain of mosquito, but I think that would be more widespread and we would have seen bites more like that around.
As it happens, a News 4 employee says the same thing happened to him, telling us his hands looked like this after mosquitoes bit him in northeast Oklahoma City, nowhere near Lightning Creek Park.
But if a whole lot of people are having the same swelling and reaction, it makes me suspicious that it may be something altogether different.
As for Singleton,
I'm hoping maybe the city can come out and just treat the fields.
she just wants someone to send the mosquitoes packing.
And we're really just hoping that our kids can come out and practice in a safe environment.
Now, Dr. Kale also says bug bites like these typically will go away on their own. She stresses there is no cause for alarm, but if you are ever start having trouble breathing or swallowing after a bite, she says that you should get checked out by a doctor.
Yeah, so kind of weird, right? I mean, that's right here in Oklahoma City. That's our local news, KFOR. They're who we watch for a lot of stuff, especially when it's tornado season and we've got some pretty bad weather coming this way. So it was very interesting to see that. Keep an ear out for more information on that to see if I can hear anything else. Of course, if I find out anything else, I'll pass that along to you. But that's it for this video. I just wanted to give you guys a quick update and let you know what my doctor said, and to let you know too that if you've got some loose skin from losing weight, be careful if you get bit by bugs, especially even just a little mosquito bite. You might not think it's anything, but evidently it can become something, and I'm living proof of that. So be careful, all right? I appreciate you watching. As always, if you haven't hit that subscribe button, please do. Give it a thumbs up. Drop me a comment down below. Help out that algorithm. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to follow me on my journey to become a fat guy no more, hit that subscribe button and don't forget to hit that bell so you can get notifications every time I upload a new video.